What's up, everybody? Welcome to Off the X podcast. I'm Forrest Carvajal, and we got the whole crew back in the house tonight. Senior Sure Shot, Tyler Wells, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm tired, but I'm doing good.
Our maestro of media, Matt Covington, how are you?
We're back. I'm excited.
And the Bourbon Boy is finally back. He said he's a guest tonight since he hadn't been here so long.
Yeah.
How are you, man?
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, I'm excited about tonight because we have no like solid topic. So we've got like a charcuterie board worth of topics that I brought. So we're just going to look at it and kind of pick and choose what we're going to go over, and we'll see how we like it. How's that sound?
Charcuterie board.
Honestly, those are one of the things that I hate the most. I can't stand a charcuterie board. There's nothing on it that I like. I'll eat the crackers. That's it.
So if we make one with chicken strips and sliders, then you'll be all
We
about it.
did one night with crane and oryx and everything.
Is
else
that
you
technically
ate.
a
That was-
charcuterie board?
In my opinion, that would have been what's the charcuterie board? That's what the
I call it a charcuterie board.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. So.
Anyhow, okay. So we do have a call review tonight. We'll talk about that one at the end of the show from the Waterfowl Company. They sent us a Cutdown. They call it the WMA-Cut. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. But let's just kind of catch up. How has summer been for everybody? What's everybody been up to?
Who wants to lead off?
Tyler, you've been working in the woods. What you got?
Right now, we're pulling about 16-hour days. Work till, I took off early Friday. I got home about 6:30. Bush hog till 11:15. And yeah, so I'm tired, but season's winding down. Development season's winding down. We're still pushing hard to get done, but I'm ready for duck season to get here. I'm ready to start shooting stuff.
How about Matt? How are you?
It's been good. It's been busy. Made a trip down to Florida with the family for a week, so that was nice. And then just trying to chase Tyler around with the camera a little bit, document some of these projects, and then get out of there when he turns his back. He's pulling a lot more hours than I am out in the field. But, man, it's been good.
Do y'all have any
busy.
projects that you're like especially excited about that you can talk about? I don't know. There may be some you can't talk about.
Yeah, we're working on Wild Wings right now, doing a lot of development out there, and that's really cool to be able to just step foot on that property after watching it on social media for so many years and actually get out there and have a hand in the conservation and habitat improvement projects.
I'm excited to see how that place turns out after all the work we've put in there. We're also doing a pretty cool one for Quack's Waterfowl. Mm-hmm. That one is an old 9-hole golf course that we're going to turn it into kind of a mixture between a GTR and an flooded impoundment. Like this year,
That's cool.
This year, just going to have millet in it, but like next year, put like some corn or something like that in it. Be a mixture, stand underneath the oak tree and watch them land in corn. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet.
They're gonna keep the name their duck holes after this is hole 18, hole 17.
Well, it's only 9 hole, he said.
I think they're
that
calling,
would-
I
that
think
would
they're
be
calling
cool.
it the back 9, aren't they?
Yeah,
back nine.
yeah,
So that's
back
pretty
nine.
cool.
That's really cool.
I mean, there
Yeah.
are golf balls all over the place when you're driving around. It was a legit golf course. The tee boxes are still there. You can
It'll definitely have Canada geese on them.
100%.
for sure.
So
They won't be there for long. Dude, I bet you we picked up a 5-gallon bucket of golf balls off that place.
Holy cow. What are you going to do with them?
I don't know.
You need some?
No, I do not need golf
mark
balls.
the boat trail with them.
Yeah. The funny thing is I was talking to a guy that we've used to do some discing for us, and he's like, dude, my dad used to own that.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, for years, he's like, I used to go out there and kill ducks right off the backside of the golf course. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, just a small world over there. You're working on one thing and then just bring it up, and they're like, oh, yeah, I know exactly where that is, man. My dad owned it. I was like, oh, sweet.
That's just insane to me. They're like, okay, we're gonna take this golf course and just turn it into a hunting property. Like,
Yeah, right.
I mean, when you're in duck country, you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, next it'll be the Stuttgart Country Club.
Oh, gosh.
turn the driving range into a skeet range. Yeah.
Oh, I will say I'm not going to say where I was at, but I was on one that we're looking at doing development on for next year. Dude, it's one of those places. Like I was like, I feel like I might need to go put on a
Suit and tie.
a suit and tie or a tux with
Wow.
the penguin tails. But it was pretty impressive. So
That's
anyway,
cool.
Sorry, I re-interrupted.
Go back to the Wild Wings thing. Yeah, that'll be really cool because I think we all follow their social media. So this year, like when they post stuff about the ducks and everything that they've shot, you'll be like, I kind of had a hand in that right there.
Yeah. It's neat being able to be like, oh, well, I've seen this on, on an Instagram post or something.
Yeah.
You standing in there and then hearing the stories behind the names of the holes and this and that and the other. And then there's one hole in there they call it's the Bayou hole, and it's been there since like the 20s.
Yeah.
So I mean that's pretty impressive.
A lot of history.
Yeah, and the old caretaker there, man, is a hoot. Mr. Charlie is a hoot. Like,
Well, I mean, with the name Mr. Charlie, you got to be, right?
When he can hear you, he's a hoot.
yeah.
I imagine this guy like the old country guy, and I bet he talks really loud.
He's a good dude.
He is oh dude, I don't even know how to explain him. Like I'd just go down there and just
hang out.
just to hang out with him.
He about got bit by a rattlesnake the other day. I said, Mr. Charlie, why aren't you wearing snake boots? Oh, it's too hot for that. He said, I'm too fast for him anyway.
I love it. Barrett, what you been up to?
Dude, work. So
Work.
I haven't seen or heard from you in like 3 months.
I've kept my head down. It's been a lot of work, a lot of working out, a lot of dealing with kids. So I kind of poured myself into the job here lately, and just have been nonstop. So
Well, you've always been a working man, so I mean, I just hate that you've been doing it
it's
so
just
much.
that, and I've got houses that I'm dealing with, and I had
Yeah.
a water line bust on one 2 days ago, and it's always something. So it's always
Did it
something.
freeze?
Huh?
Did it freeze?
Yeah, it froze.
It
got so hot it
cold
just
front we
kept
had.
going.
Yeah, that little cold front we had.
Yeah. No, it
I hope you got it off the trees quick enough. We don't want to kill any of them.
no, but it's just been work, kids, family, and trying to stay healthy and fit. So I'm trying to keep up with Matt, working out.
We can't do that. Matt's just too far ahead of all of us.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Tyler might be able to as much as he walks.
I ain't working out near like Matt though. He's dedicated. I'm not. I'm not that dedicated to it.
None of us have been winning anything like you have.
Well, that ain't a lie.
Well, let's get into our first topic about pintails then.
Well, we're not going to go around the table and finish off with you.
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Dude, I've been turning duck calls, and we went to Delta. Delta was fun. What did we do after that?
Tyler, hit the button.
Back to back.
No, it wasn't back to back. I didn't win worlds.
No, back to back cut downs though.
No, I got what? No, I got cut first round at Simmons.
No. You ain't worried about Simmons.
Okay, so obviously they're talking about it. So I did win a cut down contest. The Max Prairie Wings, what is it? The Max Cut Down Classic. That's what it's called. Which they brought it back. That used to be, I think that's originally what was the World Cut Down, and then they turned it into the Worlds and took the Cut Down Classic away, and now they brought it back. So it was cool to win that because of the history of it and where it is in Stuttgart and the name of it. But the whole day was really interesting because I practiced for the cut down, but there was a Main Street contest that day, and it was a qualifier, and I've not qualified for Worlds yet. So I was like, I'm practicing for that. So I practiced my butt off for the regional. And then it was the first contest, which thankfully it was, because it's a whole lot easier to go Main Street, then cut down, instead of cut down first, then Main Street. So I can't remember how many of us there was. There's 14 or 15, I think. First round, I drew number 5. I got up there, and it was the same thing that happened at Delta. I blew my call on the warm-up, and it was not there. Like, I was like, what the crap? I literally blew this before the contest, and it was there, and now I can't find it. So I took the call completely apart, took the reed out, took the cork out, and I turned the cork around. So if you don't know duck calls, all I was trying to do is I was trying to get that cork a little bit tighter. So by turning it around, the front edge of that cork I was hoping would be a little bit more raised so I could push it farther back into the cork notch and get the reed to lift up a little more. It worked. So I blew it, sounded right. I nodded my head, let's go. My hails were great, and the first cadence, I squawked the freaking call again, and I could not believe it. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. And I squawked a couple more times, and it was just like piss poor. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. So I went back in the trailer, and I was just all pissed off. And, other buddies came in there, and they'd messed up too. Like, okay, well, we'll go watch and see who wins. And Will McBride ended up winning, who is the same person that won at Simmons. So he's having a really good year. So congratulations to him. But I was just pissed. I was like, oh, you got to be freaking kidding. I practiced for this. I was anxious for it, ready, excited. And then I do that crap, get cut first round, which has been like my whole contest season this year is just get cut first round. So I'm pissed. So now going into the cut down, I'm like, I know what's about to happen. I'm about to squawk this dude in the first round and get cut. But what was exciting about this one was that Drake Levy was there. And he hasn't competed it since since he won his third World Cutdown Championship. So he's won 3. Daniel Duke has won 3. Daniel Duke was in this one too. Oh, wow. Yeah, there was, a bunch of really good callers in this. Bo Brooks was in this from Higdon. He was in it. So I was like, oh, cool. I've never competed against Bo. Now he's not he is exceptional with every call that he blows, but he's more noted for elk and turkey than he is for duck. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, I was like, cool, I get to compete against Bo. I can say I've competed against him at least once. And I can't remember how many of us there was. I think there was 24, maybe 25. I think there was 24. Yeah, there was 24. So anyhow, first round, my buddy Seth Roussel, who won the double read at Delta, he drew number 21. So I was joking with him. I always think it's better to draw a late number. So I'm joking with him. I'm like, I'll trade you numbers right now. Haven't even drawn yet, and I will trade you numbers right now. He's like, no, heck no. So I go up there and I draw 24. It's like, freak, yes. I'm going last. I'm like, yes, this is perfect. So everybody's getting up there, and I try not to listen to people when they're on stage. I try to keep in my own headspace and do my own thing. But what was really cool, and I've only seen this a couple other times, was when Drake Levy got on stage, everybody in the bus or the trailer is like all talking, just jabber-jawing, we're all cutting up. But when Drake got on stage, everybody shuts up. Everybody's attention went to Drake because it's Drake Levy. So everybody was listening. And I was like, dude, that's really cool. When you get that kind of respect from your peers in a contest, that's really freaking cool. So I noticed that. I still tried not to listen to his routine, but I noted that. I was like, that's cool. I've only ever seen it, like I said, a couple other times. I saw it once a long time ago with Tyler Merritt. And I think it was Daniel Duke the first time at Simmons was the other time that I noticed it. Was like, dude, people are paying attention. Everybody stops. Everybody's quiet. And they're listening to these guys because they're just that good. So that was cool. Well, I blew my routine last, and I got through the whole thing clean. I was like, thank God. Finally. Finally. Yes. So honestly, in my head, I was like, I blew 24. I blew my routine exactly how I wanted to. So this might be arrogant, but in my head, I was like, I know I'm through round 1. And since I blew last, there's a good chance that I either have the lead or I'm close to it. So I was like, I'm in a good spot. So I made the second round. Second round, I drew number 5, I think, which was the same number as the first contest when I got cut. So I was like, well, that's not a good sign. Second round, I got up there and I blew pretty well the same routine. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see if I can make the last round. So they cut it to, I made the last round. There's only 8 of us left. And I'm looking around and I'm like, everybody in here is really freaking good. Like, I couldn't guess who has the lead. I would imagine Daniel's probably close. Drake is probably close. There's a couple other guys. Will Jones is in there. Seth Roussel. Like, these guys are probably close to the lead. JD, who is a younger guy, is very, very good. He was in there too. Judson Crump. I can't remember the other one. But anyhow, so I draw number 6, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. I drew late. And then Drake walks past me, and I said, what'd you get? He goes, 7. I said, well, frick. The last thing you want is somebody that's better than you going after you, because it's like, that's not good, because he's going to get at least my score or better if we both blow clean. Generally. Not every time, but that's kind of what my experience has been with contest calling. And then I bumped Seth, and I was like, well, what did you get? He goes, 8. I'm like, dadgummit. You got to be kidding me. Like, I've never beat Seth at a cut-down contest, honestly. He wasn't at Worlds last year, but every other cut-down contest we've been at, he's beat me at. So I'm like, dadgummit. So third round comes, we get up there, we all blow, and I'm like, okay, well, I blew pretty well. We'll see what happens. And they come in there, and they tell us who the top 5 are, which was Daniel Duke, Will Jones, me, Seth Roussel, and Drake Levy.
Stacked.
Yeah, very. So, honestly, out of those 5, you've got 7 World Cutdown Championships between those 5 guys. So I'm like, okay. I'm getting they cut it to the top 5 because that's who's getting paid. So they let the other 3 guys go. And then Brittany, the lady running it, and I'd already said, please, God, don't let there be any ties. She comes in there and she goes, we've got a tie. And I was like, oh, please don't be me. She goes, I need Drake and Forrest. I'm like, dang it. I did not want to be in a tie, but now that I know I'm in a tie with Drake, I'm like, okay, I'm probably getting beat, number 1. But the good thing is there's a high possibility this is for first. Okay. I'm like, okay. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I want number 2 because we have to draw to see who goes first and who goes second. I'm like, all right, I want number 2. I said, do you want to draw? He shook his head. No. I'm like, okay. I draw number 1. Dang it. Gosh, dang it. Frick. He's going after me again. So we get out there. I blow first, and he came outside and he watched me, and I really appreciated that. I don't know if he was intentionally watching for any kind of reason, but I felt respected when he came out there and watched. So I blew my routine. It was pretty clean. I mean, there wasn't anything that I was like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to sit here and watch what he does. And he got up there and he blew, and he shook his head at one note, and I was like, I didn't hear anything, so I think it was just he felt something a little different. So I was like, nah, that's nothing. Sounded pretty clean to me. You know, we fist bumped afterwards, like, good job, whatever. We go back in there, and we're all laughing and cutting up again. And he talked about his read had split in round 3. So he had changed his read for the first round of the call-off. And then I showed him mine and how chewed up it was. And everybody in there was like, dude, why are you still using that read? And I was like, because it still works. I'm going to blow it till it blows up. So everybody's laughing at me about that. And Brittany comes back in there and she goes, y'all got to go again. You're still tied. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. It's like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, well, I missed it the first time. I'm drawing 2 this time. So I walked up there. I didn't even ask. I just walk up there and I grab a coin. Guess what number I drew?
1.
1.
I was going to ask, have you ever thought about picking one up and then dropping it and picking another one up?
No. Well, the thing is, like at Simmons, you've got 3 different color chips. You've got red, white, and blue. And I know what color the 1 is. So I do not draw that color. I'm not about to tell you what color it is, but I pay attention down there. And I'm not drawing that color because I don't want to be number 1. Whereas at Stuttgart, they're all white. So it's like, I haven't figured out exactly which one number 1 is yet. I need to pay a little closer attention next time. But anyhow, I'm like, okay, well, good thing is he didn't beat me in the first one. So I'm like, maybe I got a shot. Bad thing is he's still going after me. So I get up there this next time, and honestly, I felt like my second routine wasn't as strong as my first one. And he blew. He didn't shake his head or anything after that, and he walked off, and it was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't have to go a third time. And Brittany came back, and she said, all right, no more ties. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. So we all go out on stage, and at this point, we don't even know. Drake and I were even kidding. At one point, we're like, I mean, if this is for 4th or 5th, y'all can just go ahead and tell us, and we'll just flip a coin because it's pointless if it's for 4th or 5th. Neither one of us cares if it's for that. So we go out there, and one of the other things I forgot to mention, talking about respect, I blew after Daniel one of the rounds. I can't remember which one it was, but Jim Ronquist is the MC. He's the one that's kind of running the contest. Mm-hmm. And when Daniel was up there blowing, I was watching Jim, and Jim was like focused, and like you could see his body move, and his hand was like moving with each note that Daniel was doing. Like you could tell he was sitting there rooting. Like, I mean, they've been buddies. They've filmed RNTV together. Yeah. So much history there. It was really cool to watch Jim cheering Daniel on in that way. Like he was focused on what Daniel was doing, and that was really cool to me. So anyhow, we go out on stage, and Brittany's like, okay, no, it's Jim. Jim was announcing who the winners were. And he said, all right, 4th runner up, Daniel Duke. I was like, oh, okay, well, I beat Daniel. All right, we beat Daniel. And then 3rd runner up, Will Jones. Like, okay, that was a big deal, beating Will. All right, we're in the top 3. But at this point, I'm like, if they call me or Drake, my buddy Seth just won this thing, and he's next to me. So I'm like, who are they going to call now? And they say 2nd runner up, Seth Roussel. And he's like, dang it. And I was like, oh, man. And I bumped him like, dude, I was listed for it, too. I was like, if they call one of our names, it was going to be you, man. And so now I'm like, okay, it's between me and Drake. And I'm like, I want to win. I mean, I'll be very upfront and honest. Like, I want to win.
That's why you go.
Win. That's why you go. I want to win. I want to beat this guy. But I also had it in my head like, you just went 2 extra rounds with Drake Levy, who's going to go down as one of the best cut down competition callers ever, if not the best in most people's minds. Okay.
You stepped in the ring with Tyson.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, worst case, he beat me and I just went, basically 5 rounds with Drake. That's worst case. Best case, I'm about to win this thing. She said, first runner up, Drake Levy. And it was basically the same thing I did at Worlds. I just kind of dropped my head and I was like, I cannot believe it just happened. And I have not gotten emotional at a contest before, but after I won World Cutdown, since I've always said I'm not a cutdown guy, I've always felt like I need to validate that in some way. And the first cutdown contest afterwards was Simmons, and I butchered it. Didn't do anything. Crapped out first round. So when I won this one, I beat Daniel. I beat Drake. I beat Seth, who I've never beaten before, Seth Russell. Beat Drake. It was like I validated what I did at Worlds with that win. Mm-hmm. Whether I win another cutdown contest ever again, it doesn't matter in my mind now because I'm like, okay, I proved that I won that one fair and square because I won this one. I went 2 extra rounds with one of the best ever, and I came out on top. So I had a couple tears come out. I'm not going to lie. And I had to wipe them away quick because I don't like crying in front of people. But I was like, dude, I cannot believe that this just happened. So that was that contest. Felt good. Now, again, Drake hasn't competed in years, so he had a lot of nerves. So I didn't beat prime Drake Levy, but still, I was happy about it.
Quit making excuses. You won it.
And we found out on Facebook. That's how I found out.
Found out from somebody else on Facebook.
What the heck? We didn't even know you were blowing in this thing.
That's okay. If I'm going to win them, I'm not going to tell y'all about them anymore either. I have no contest in November, by the way. There's nothing around Thanksgiving.
Oh, my gosh. We were there for your first big one.
But, yeah, that was a big deal. It meant a lot. Still excited about it. But we'll move on to the next one now.
Well, are you gonna build a cut down now?
I will at some point, but it's still I got a new jig in, which y'all haven't blown any of the new ones yet either. But it's modeled after the call that I used all year last year, that walnut and cedar call. And the one that I'm about to send out, the one I just finished up, is probably the closest one that I've ever made to that one. It's really freaking good.
Who's that one going to?
I'm not going to say in case he blows it and doesn't like it. Because
I was going to say, what if he blows it and he loves it, and then somebody's like, "Hey, man, I'll buy that from you."
Well, then he can say that I'll say this so he knows who it is, but not anybody else really knows who it is. It's the same material as yours. He wanted one that looked just like yours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ho.
And it's pretty close, other than the shape, because the shape has changed a little bit, but the wood looks pretty dang identical. Mm-hmm. But it's the ones I'm making, they're a little bit louder, a little bit raspier, trying to fix the feed call issue that some people have with it. And I think I've got it fixed. We'll see when people start getting some of these.
Oof. Well, I just have one question now. Mm-hmm. Are you a cut down guy?
So here's what I say about that. I am not going to say anymore that I'm not a cut down guy. I will not say that ever again. But I'm not going to officially say, yes, I'm a cut down guy, because I haven't made one. I can just blow one
really well.
Pretty well. I've got a good one. I think that's what it is. I just happened to get a really good one.
Same one that you used.
Yeah, absolutely. Same one, same reed, everything.
Yeah. Same reed.
Yes. Same exact reed. That reed is, I forgot to tell you this. After the third round, after every round, I take the call apart and I use a dollar bill and I swipe, try to get all the spit out from between the reed and the tone board. And when I did that, I saw something white fall off. And I was like, what the heck was that? So I had to take the call completely apart. Part of that reed fell off.
Did you put it back in?
No, I'm talking about like a finger, part of the corner. Like, I've got a picture of the reed. Part of that corner fell off, and I posted it on All Thing Cutdown. And if you go back to that picture and you look at it, that top right corner, you can see where it's like part of that reed is missing. That fell off after the third round of that contest.
gave him that extra.
That's exactly right.
I gave you all I got.
Yeah, that's exactly what that reed is.
I need to frame that thing.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I was like, I think I might have to frame that reed because it's done a lot of damage.
Hang it between the trophies.
When you start cutting reeds, cut that little extra piece out of it.
I don't know if I can do that or not. I've got a new reed in it. I'll be at the Rolling Thunder contest probably, and we'll see if a new reed works as well over there. Yeah.
The old Carvajal cut. Well,
But, yeah.
did Jim pronounce your last name right this time?
I just got an energy drink up my nose. Spilled out of my... Yes, he pronounced it right. He called me after the contest and complimented me on it and said that I sounded good. Nice. Said he was proud of me. And that I was like, what world am I living in when Jim Ronquist calls me on the phone to tell me congratulations? Like what world am I actually living in?
It's your world, dog.
But yeah, that was cool. Honored to get that phone call. But yeah, that's about all I got. I've talked about that plenty.
Congratulations.
Right, well, we can go home now.
No,
right,
absolutely not.
Thanks for tuning in another week. We'll see you guys.
That's the only reason I came is to, I live here, but the only reason I came is to
And
hear
to kick up
Forrest
your
story.
boots.
Yeah, and to kick up my boots. I haven't thought about that since we went to Costa Rica.
You want to tell everybody what you're talking about? The people that can't actually see
Show
it?
to the camera over there. So I've got a koozie from when we went to Costa Rica. I don't know how long ago that was. How old's Bodie?
So that was probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
8 years ago. That koozie's been sitting in my pile of koozies ever since then.
Looks brand new.
I ain't drank out of it because it's a boot. So Matt's like that.
I dug it out of the bottom of the
hand me
box.
a koozie and he throws me this one. So
Well, of course, Matt's going to find that one.
oh yeah. All right, what else you got there for us?
Okay, I want to talk pintails. So, did y'all hear that they're talking about upping the limit, not this year, I think it's next year, to 3 pintails a person?
I had not heard this.
Yeah. How do y'all feel about that?
Well, you don't
Just
kill very many
initial
of them in
thoughts.
timber. So.
Doesn't matter to you. Don't care.
I mean, I'm fine with it. If I get into them good, I'd love to kill 3.
Right. I know over in Oklahoma, they're seeing a ton of them come through. So even if we're not seeing them here, they are loaded over there. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it at all.
Is it
I mean,
across the board?
Yeah, all 4 flyways.
Really?
Yeah.
So I guess the numbers are up compared to what they've been saying.
Well, since you mentioned the numbers, let's go to the numbers.
Well, let's
'cause-
talk about the pintail real quick. So if they're allowing that, that doesn't mean each state has to bump that number up, do they? That just gives
That's
them
true.
the
Just gives them the
option.
option.
Yes.
That's true. You're correct there. So, okay. So the waterfowl survey that just came out, pintails are at 1.975 million birds for this year. They are down 11% from last year, and they are down from their long-term average 49%.
So, yeah. So
Are we
why-
using the snow goose philosophy here? You kill more, they're just going to be more.
Maybe they'll reproduce faster.
Get after it, boys. There's less of us around.
So, all right. So those are the numbers. So last year we had 2.219 million.
Because I feel like every time I see these come out, the pintail numbers are always down. So it's
Well,
like,
I mean,
why are we?
they're 49% down. So yeah.
Why are we?
I mean, wasn't there an article 2 years ago talking about closing the season on them?
Exactly.
That we were talking
Yeah.
about at
You're
your
getting
house.
ahead. You're getting ahead of me. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Getting ahead of me.
Good
Thanks.
job.
Yes, we did talk about that. I don't remember what episode, but it's on one of the episodes. Honestly,
Yeah, because it was a pretty big topic.
yeah, absolutely.
Barry was
So,
like, I'm never going to be able to kill
Oh, I
them.
know. Yeah.
so
So I'm all for going to 3.
I posted in my story because I was like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like if we're down this much,
Yeah.
and we've
Why are we-
always only killed one, the population's never really like exploded. Why are we going to go and say, hey, y'all kill triple the amount that you've been killing? So I asked a few people, like I put it on my story and it's like genuinely curious. And I had half a dozen people interacted with me about it. And I thoroughly enjoyed those interactions. And one of the things that kept coming up that they would say is, well, the numbers are similar to widgeon and gadwall, and we can kill 6 widgeons and 6 gadwalls. That sounds like a fair argument. So gadwalls are at 2.284 million. They're also down 11% from last year.
Yeah, but there's still a million more gadwalls than pintails. What did you say the number was?
Gadwalls are 2.2. Pintails are 1.9. So
Okay,
there's
okay.
0.3.
Okay. So 300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought the pintails were
Big
lower.
numbers.
No.
Yeah.
Well, widgeons, which I don't know what happened to them, they were a very happy bird this spring because they are up 55% from last year.
Good grief.
They were at 1.89 million last year, and they're at 2.9 million this year. So there's supposed to be more than 1 million more widgeon this year than what there was last year.
Man, I I would love to kill some more cotton tops.
That's what they're saying. So in my mind, all those places like Oklahoma and the West Coast that kill a bunch of widgeons, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, we can't get rid of the things.
Right.
But that's been the argument or one of the arguments is, well, we can kill 6 of those, but we can only kill 1 pintail.
Sounds like we need to be able to kill 6 pintails.
Okay.
Or 12 widgeons.
According to that argument, it sounds right. But then you have to go back to, well, they nest totally different than pintails. Yeah. Pintails nest in sparse cover a long way away from water. So predation gets them really bad. Farmers run over a bunch of nests when they're doing their fields. Whereas widgeon and gadwall don't have that same issue. Okay. It's not the same thing. So automatically you're going to replace widgeon and gadwall that you shot better than what you're going to replace pintails.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm also wondering how, like a mallard, if something gets her nest, she's going to keep repeating, trying to have a new nest. I wonder if
pintails don't do that as much.
Like, well, that was all I had.
Yeah, pintails are much more likely, and that was one of the things that I've heard too, is pintails are much more likely to try it once. Didn't work. I'm good. Whereas you're right.
I tried.
But here's the other thing. Along with that argument, well, we can kill 6 gadwall, we can kill 6 widgeon. How many mallards can we kill?
4.
You know how many mallards there are?
How many?
Bunch.
6.6 million. So triple what gadwalls are.
But I also feel like there's a lot more people out there that are going to let a gadwall fly through the hole. Not us.
Yeah, no, there's not.
There's not.
No, absolutely
like,
not.
I'm not going to shoot that gadwall.
I mean, we have a shoveler represented at the table. Say no more.
I mean, you know my stance on shovelers.
Oh, I mean, that's...
Go back. What was the number? So the widgeon number went up in 1 year?
In 1 year.
55%?
55%, yes. In 1 year, widgeon went from 1.89 million to 2.92 million.
What were they doing?
Yep.
And where were they?
I think we know what they were doing.
But where? Like, I feel like somebody had all these things pinned up somewhere, and they were like, you know what? We better let these things
Time
go.
to let them go.
Release the widgeon. Release the pintails.
Check the surveys, boys.
Exactly.
No, I saw that. My eyes got big. I was like, what? How did they go up a million birds?
That's nuts.
Cow.
But anyhow, yeah. So that argument in my
That
mind...
guy flying Moses,
Yeah.
he only had one eye, and they fired him. This guy got 2.
He didn't look out the other side of the plane. Like Emma running around here, one eye.
So yeah, those are the numbers. We'll start there. Okay. And the article that you're talking about was April 2023. The article is titled Pintails on the Brink.
So last spring.
Last spring, we had that article. Pintails on the brink. 1 year later, let's shoot triple.
Kill
them
them
out
all.
there. Yeah, kill them all. Let's just go ahead and make them extinct. We won't worry about them anymore. That way we ain't got to count them.
From the brink to extinct.
Barrett, you get all you can get this year because there's not going to be any more.
Yeah, I'm giving them a hard time right now. But here's some of the things from in that article. In the 1950s, the population was estimated at approximately 10 million pintails. 10 million. And if you remember, back in the point days, pintails were a 10-point bird. So you could shoot 10 of those dudes. 10 of them. Okay. By 1979, it was down to 5.4 million. So 20 years, we've decreased it by half. Okay. Drought hit in the 80s, and it went down to 1.8 million by 91. So we went from 5.4 to 1.8 because of the drought.
And we're at 1.9 now.
We're at 1.9 right now. So from that right there, that shows you that the nesting grounds is the issue. Okay? That's what we can assume is if the drought hit and we're dropping 4 million birds in, let's say, just a 10-year span, that's a big deal. Okay? So in 2022, what prompted this article, it was 1.78 million. It's 2 years ago. It was 1.78 million, a record low and 54% below long-term average. Federally mandated floor, which means if they get to this number, you cannot shoot them, is 1.75. 1.75. We're at 1.97 right now. So a couple 100,000 less, and we can't shoot them.
Well, maybe that's what they're doing. Let's get them below the number, and then y'all can't kill another one.
So I'm after y'all hear that, I want to hear y'all's thoughts. I want to talk about this because pintails are my favorite bird. They are my favorite. I've not killed many of them. It's the first duck that I ever got mounted. It's honestly the only duck that I've ever got mounted for myself. It's a pintail. First one I ever shot. They're my favorite bird. So that's why I'm into this topic.
All I'll say is y'all don't look at me when I keep shooting.
They said I can shoot 3 of them. That's not this year, Barrett.
I heard I can shoot 3.
I mean, it's interesting because we're basically at the same number, give or take a little bit, as we were last spring talking about not being able to kill them, and now it's kill 3. So, I mean, is it the people making the rules? Did they go to Oklahoma last year and see a bunch of them? Or, I mean,
right?
It's just strange.
So, again, I talked to a few people, and I was like, I'm curious. So I asked a buddy. I'm not going to say his name. I'll tell you that he guides at Dave's Bayou.
His name is...
which is a big club in Louisiana. It's one of the big ones down there. And Louisiana gets a lot of pintails because pintails are one of the first ones that come through. A lot of them stop in Louisiana. Okay. So I asked him, I said, hey, do you keep track of like the number of pintails that you kill or how many birds you shoot? And he said he doesn't do that for his blind. He hunts literally the same blind every day. But he said some of the other guys do. I'll ask them. Like, okay, I'd really appreciate it. So one of the blinds last year shot 1,850 birds. Okay, that's just
one of the blind.
One of the blinds.
Great.
Can you imagine hunting? Can you imagine hunting the same blind every day, but you killed almost 2,000 birds?
That's insane.
Yeah. So of that number, 121 of them were pintails. Okay,
So 1%.
that's pretty good math. 121 were pintails.
Good job, Barry.
I mean, I'm
You've been working, man.
Yeah.
So he gave me another one, another blind
on that one.
Another blind that apparently this blind does not get hunted as much, or this guy does not. He keeps different numbers. Shot 691 birds.
He's got to go.
Well, he said ducks. They might. This might be one of the goose blinds or something. Another 691 ducks, but 137 of those were pintails. So that ratio is totally different, right?
3%.
Yep. Okay. It's more than 3%.
It's like 20%.
Yeah. It's almost 20%.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So
Put my shoes on for that one.
Quit when you were. That's the reason why I sit over here and be quiet. I'm like, I know.
121 plus 137. 137 equals 258 pintails between those two blinds last year. Mm-hmm. And this person also said, dude, we have endless amounts of pintails. Okay. They got a bunch of them. Mm-hmm. So we'll just go ahead and assume that they kill triple the amount just for the numbers. It will be this much or less. So times 3 equals, we're going to go to 774 pintails between those two blinds. Okay. That's 2 blinds in one part of the country. And we're already at 774. So if you add in all these other places, what number do you think we can get to? Do you think we can kill 100,000 pintails out of all these other places?
Possibly.
Because if we kill 100,000 extra
Now,
pintails,
is this one flyway?
this with those numbers that I just told you is one guide outfit.
No, I understand that, but we have to get to 100. So we have to hit 1.75 million in
Total birds. Total birds.
So we're talking all flyways.
All flyways.
Then we should easily hit 100,000 across 4 flyways.
I mean, honestly, it
In my
seems
opinion.
it seems very possible to hit that number.
Yeah.
So that's why it scares me. But here, I've given y'all all the negative. So like all the things that I'm like, there's no reason. Like somebody needs to give me an argument as to why this will work. And the one argument that I've been told that actually holds water so far is the ratio of drakes to hens is so drastic with pintails that the drakes harass the hens so much on the nests that it causes an issue with the breeding grounds.
So
there's proof of that. There's
okay,
videographic proof.
And I asked this guide, the same one that we've been talking about. I said, what kind of ratios do y'all usually see? Like when you have a group of pintails coming, he says, oh, it's easily 2 to 1. It's easily 2 drakes to 1 hen every time.
Well, then we should have went up to 2 bird limit, not 3.
Well, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, why didn't we just say, all right, we can kill 3, but only 1 can be a hen?
That's what my question was. Well,
Yeah.
out of all those pintails that's being killed, how many hens are they killing? Or are they just like, hey, we're
honestly
shooting this drake?
I mean, in Louisiana, and for us, by the time they're to us, we can tell that's a drake, that's a hen.
Yeah.
With pintails. And maybe first light, maybe you can't tell on a juvenile, like it won't have the sprig the same way. But you think about Canada, dude, they get roasted early season in Canada.
Everything gets roasted early season in Canada.
But they're all brown.
Brown,
You don't
brown,
know if you're
big
shooting a drake or you're shooting a hen.
Yeah.
But think how many more are going to get shot in Canada. Mm-hmm. If you could shoot 3 to 1. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's...
Well, Canada's not regulated like we are. They don't. It's not the same numbers.
That's federal.
Okay.
But
Is federal
extends to
federal's-
Canada?
I don't know. I don't.
it's us.
I guess you're right there. But also,
it's
like, I mean,
ducks.
Mexico
Yeah,
could
it's
shoot
not.
like 6 or 7 of the stupid things. So all those places are still going to be killing as many as I guess they have been. So I guess Canada doesn't matter. So it matters just in the U.S.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
I just mean
Canada's an
bumping.
8 bird limit, and it don't matter what it is.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But anyhow, I'm a little fired up about it.
Yeah.
There are other things that can fire me up even worse. Talk about draw system. We'll get real fired up.
We'll break a bottle out and get Forrest on the draw system.
I will go to jail.
Northern pintails, 8 birds in Canada.
8 birds in Canada.
You can shoot 8 of them.
Okay. So that won't change. You can already...
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Why can okay, whatever. Anyhow, moving on. What do y'all have any thoughts on that we hadn't talked about pintails?
I mean, move it to where it's, one hen. You shoot one pintail hen, and you don't shoot any more pintails that day. You know what I mean? Because if you do you think about if you got a group of pintails coming in, there's hens bobbing and weaving in the big middle of everything. You go to lighten into them, and it's not a single or a double or something like that. Because, I've shot into huge groups of pintails back in the early 2000s. And, they were like, you couldn't get them out of there. So,
But to that point, when a group of pintails is circling, I'm this way. Y'all might not be this way. I'm looking for the pintail that's got the longest sprig. I don't care if he's on my side of the blind or not.
to be honest with you, at that point in time in life, I was looking at ducks.
Okay. I hadn't been around enough pintails to do that, but most of the time I'm like, all right, which one is the trophy? I'm shooting that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most people are, but there's also those young guys and young kids that are out there hunting, and it's like, hey, pull up and kill ducks. Everybody's not like, all right, I'm going to pick out that one with the biggest sprig, and that's the one I'm killing.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
It's...
Doesn't bother you? It's going to happen.
I would prefer it not to go to 3, but again, I haven't seen any proof that shows other than what people are saying. Again, if the males are harassing the females, it's just hard to believe that. Yeah, we went out there and watched, and that's what was happening. So we're gonna change the numbers.
Have you ever? Which I guess y'all don't play golf, so you've never seen it on the golf course. In the springtime, the Drake mallards harassing the hens.
Oh, yeah.
They'll kill them. Mm-hmm. Literally kill them, chasing after them and stuff.
So it's that big of a problem that we've got to change the limit.
I don't think it's just pintails, though. I think every bird does.
Yeah.
Right, but it's more of an issue with pintails, supposedly, because the ratio is so much worse.
Right.
Drake to hen.
I want to know what the mallard drake to hen ratio is, because it seems like there's a heck of a lot more drakes come in than there are hens.
I'm not going there because I haven't researched it enough. I've been looking this stuff up.
I'm just talking about like when you're out hunting, like when I've had days hunting where nothing came in that wasn't a drake. Like it was just, I don't know if it was just that field or what it was, but like it was we killed all drakes because that was all that came in.
Well, when you'll have one greenhead come in all day, yeah, that's going to be.
Gosh.
I think after 1 year, it'll be really telling, though.
Yeah. It'll absolutely. We'll know after
by
1
the
year.
next year when it shut down.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
This was a terrible idea. Fire that intern.
No, he'll be like, it worked. They can't hunt them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the guys that are able to kill 3, of course, they'll triple their numbers, but the majority of us,
right,
3 times 0 is still 0.
Yeah.
We're not killing a ton of pintails anyway.
But
we killed 1 last year.
Yeah.
Here's my argument, though. Like, yes, that's fine and good. Like, we'll raise it because we need to kill more drakes. But what we know as a fact, we know it for a fact, that they do not reproduce well. Those numbers, we're not going to see a 55% increase in pintails,
No.
most likely because of where they breed. It's like it's just not going to happen. And every person that I talked with agreed on that point. So my point is, like, what happens if we screw up, we kill a whole bunch of them things, and it drops to 1.5? I guess we just get to watch pintails for years until we get it up.
Do some math. Do some math.
Here, I'll let you do the math.
No, you do the math. You are mathletes. You are mathletes. Do the total number
Total number of what?
of pintails.
Pintails?
All right, and then
Hang on. I gotta go back.
1.9.
let's see what
We'll just say 1.9.
Let's see what 2/3 of that is. Because right, you said it's 2 to 1, so that's 2/3. Are we right? Y'all
Hang on.
Still tracking?
I have a number in my head, but I'm not going to throw it out there. I want to see what the calculator says.
1.2.
That's exactly what I was.
Okay, so there's
Sure.
2/3 of the population, and then we're tripling the number of birds we can kill.
Yeah.
So let's say take that divided by 3, right?
I don't know.
Am I still tracking here with my math? If we take the number to 3 and they kill out 3
No.
more.
I don't know. You've
Anyway,
lost
you
me.
know what I'm saying? Like the number's going to drop if you're allowing to go from killing 1 to killing 3.
I mean, you just take the harvest record from last year and times 3.
I don't have that.
Harvest record times 3, and I mean it's going to be right there on the verge of that. Hey,
I would think
Shut
it
it
would
off.
have to be. I mean, if it's at 1.9, to get it down to 1.7, we've got to kill 200,000 of them.
Well, to me, what's crazy is you said so after the drought in the 80s, it went to 1.8.
Yeah.
And then we're only at 1.9 right now. So
2 years ago, we were
40
at our
years-
record low.
Yeah.
and we've been having droughts,
Right.
Like this has been a wet spring up there. So if numbers were going to rebound, they would have rebounded.
So in 40 years, we've seen 100,000. Let's say we've seen 100,000 bird increase in 40 years since the 80s, 35 years, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
So if that math continues, and let's say we do knock them down to 1.75, it's going to be, I mean, crap, it'll be 35 more years before we get even above. I mean, we get back up to 1.8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you better go
Yep.
kill your pintail this year because you may not see it open again for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we actually had a big bump. We would have had to have had a big bump. A couple years ago, like I said, it was at 1.78. We're at 1.9 right now, but we went down 11%. So that 1 year, we had a big enough increase that we dropped 11%, and we're at 1.9 now. So we were over 2 million for last year. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So whatever happened between last year and this year, over 2 million had to drop to 1.9. So anyhow, that's pintails. Do y'all have another topic? Anything y'all want to talk about?
Will you just give us a quick recap on the duck survey? The numbers.
Oh yeah,
for
well let's
all
just
of
do the
them?
duck survey. We'll go through that. I had something else prepared, but we'll do the duck survey.
I mean, just-
we'll talk about
just-
that.
just
What
quick.
duck do you want to know about?
I mean, just start from the top.
Just
Okay.
run them down.
All right, mallards are at 6.6 million. They are up 8% from last year, but they are down 16% from the long-term average. Gadwalls are at 2.2. They are down 11% from last year. They're up 11% long-term average. Widgeons are, we've already talked about that, 2.9 million.
Going to work.
They are up 55% from last
Where
year.
they're at.
You got to put them with the pintails.
No kidding.
A buddy
Y'all go
system.
watch the widgeons, figure out what they're doing. Y'all do that.
Exactly. But they're up 12% from their long-term average. Green wing teal. Oh, I love green wings. All right, 3 million. They are up 20% from last year. I'm excited about that because I do get to see a lot of green wings. Up 20% from last year. They're up 38% from their long-term average. Blue wing teal, which we really don't get much teal season, early teal for us. 4.5 million birds. They're down 12% from last year and down 10% from their long-term average. Spoonies.
Whoa, they better be doing it.
They are at 2.6 million. They're down 7%, and they're 0% on their long-term average. So they're right where they're supposed to be.
Holding steady. Good
Yeah,
job,
holding steady.
guys.
Pintails we already talked about, 1.9 million. They're down 11% this year. They're down 49% long-term average. Redheads, we don't have many of those. or at least where we hunt, we don't. They're at 0.7 million, so there's only 700,000 of those. They're down 16% from last year, but they're up 6% from their long-term average. I mean, we only shoot one of those. Canvasbacks, 0.5 million, so 500,000 of those. They're down 8% from last year, and they're down 4% long-term average. Bluebills are, which this is weird. We can only shoot one bluebill. Mm-hmm. They're at 4 million. 4 freaking million. They're the only one that's more of those that we have more of is blue-winged teal. We can shoot 6 of those. Bluebills, they're up 16% from last year, but they're down 17% from their long-term average. So total ducks, 33.9 million. It is up 5%, but it's down 4% long-term average. So this is the funny number, and I heard Corey Nickham brought this up on the Hail Call podcast. So we're up 5% from last year, right? Total duck numbers. But we had a 1 million bird increase in widgeon. So if the widgeons hadn't done that, if the widgeons had not had a good year, what would it have looked like?
It'd have been a decrease, wouldn't it?
It would have been a decrease. Another one.
I wonder if we'll see that with the widgeons this year. How
Like more of
noticeable
them?
it'll be.
If we'll be like sitting out there, good gosh, look at all the widgeons.
Right.
Y'all get out of here.
I don't think we'll see that. Not necessarily when we hunt. Some people will. Some people will. But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we'll land a few more in the hole. That'd be okay. I wouldn't mind that.
So yeah, those are the numbers.
Oh, speaking of teal on there, are we going to try to go kill a teal?
I don't know. You just got to say go.
know. Well, I've seen 2. And
I mean,
they were
4 of
definitely in a
us.
spot I couldn't kill.
I'll film.
Forrest will call. He's not going to shoot anyway. So me and Barrett will shoot one apiece, and we'll
Get my
call it a
one.
day.
Get your one. I've never been on just like a banger early teal season hunt. I never have.
Yeah.
Early teal's always kind of like a weird time of year for me, and it's like I'll get to go once or twice, but with as quick as they come in and out in our area, it's like I'm probably not going to hit on them anyhow.
I don't think I've ever actually been on an early teal hunt.
Really?
Yeah, it's just always so hot, and I just have no desire for it. I'm
I'll tell
thinking
you-
about deer at that point of the year.
I'll tell you
anyway.
this: you will see some of the best cupped up wood ducks you'll ever see.
Yeah.
like they will fall in
yeah.
like mallards. Like not how wood ducks just scream in and just land. No, dude, they'll float in just like a mallard, like on a freaking mojo. It's ridiculous.
You and me and Barrett went on a
Yes.
teal hunt, and them stupid wood ducks, dude, like
Yeah, it's different.
fluttering in. Like I'm like, why don't y'all do that during duck season? Like,
Have no idea.
there was a lot of times we was like, oh,
No.
Yeah.
like all morning long.
And I still don't know why we can't kill one wood duck during early teal. I don't understand that. I'm like, seriously. I mean, when you're sitting in there and you've watched 100 of them come in, and you're like, I can't even shoot these
I
things.
think it happens more than we,
It
we
might.
talk about.
It might, but I
It
mean,
would have to.
Yeah.
golly. Yeah.
As on edge as you are waiting for those fast teal to come through when something slow comes in.
Well, and the thing of it is like we let a lot of teal get by us that day. I say a lot. We let a few. We let a decent number
Yeah.
of teal get by us because we were so gun shy of like,
Yeah.
it's a wood duck again.
Yeah.
Nope, that was a teal.
And then it floats past you like, dadgummit, that was a freaking teal.
Because the blue wings, they slow down and do that flutter
Yeah.
too whenever they're coming into a wood line to stop. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. The artist will kill your wood duck and teal at the same time. I would love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather eat wood ducks anyway.
I haven't killed enough blue wings to really tell you whether I know they taste good or not. I couldn't tell you. But
Anyway, what else you got on your
my
agenda?
next one, which I posted this, I think it was on our Off the X page, because I was like, I'm curious, because we've actually had some higher water through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, do y'all think we're going to have water opening weekend of duck season? Do you know what the White River is at right now?
I went drop by it. What day was that? Thursday, and I'm gonna say it's probably right around the 23, 24. What is
No,
it?
I wish it was. It's at 17.
16,
It's at 17.
Really?
It's at 17
It sure
right
looked
now.
a lot higher than that.
It's at 17 right now, and it's about to start falling.
I've noticed
but
the cash has fallen a lot. in the
I'm
last month.
pretty sure that right now, or this time last year, we were like at 11.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a lot of rivers that we work on that we were walking across, driving side by sides across.
Right. So I'm curious. I'm maybe it's just the optimist in me. Like, I think we're going to have water this year. I think
like
something's
it's a
going to
little
change. Oh, it's absolutely. It's way too early. It's way too early.
I mean, think about it like this too, though. The ground is not. It's not near as dry this year as
Exactly.
it was last year. So it's not going to take near as much rain and soak it in to get caught back up, because you peel the dirt back in the woods, and I mean, you don't go down very far, and it's wet.
Yeah.
Like last year, we were rolling dirt in the woods, building levees and stuff, and it was just dry powder. Right now, you get down a foot or so in a lot of these places, and it's mud.
Right.
So I think it'll be a whole lot easier to flood stuff up. People are not going to have to run water as long on private property. I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about it. I hope that we have a lot of water for opening day. That way it spreads people out and they're not all concentrated on top of each other. So
Is the metro still flooded?
no, it's finally went down.
Oh, I was hoping maybe they'd just close it off and keep it. We'll just
At this point,
we'll just have water for the season.
We can't do that. You hug them to death, Barrett. Did you not hear them? Hug it to death.
No, I'm curious. I probably this way every year. I've always got the optimism. Like, I think it's going to happen this year. I think we're going to have water for opening day. But like, if we stay wet for September, October, and get some good rain, I think there's hope that there'll be plenty of space for people to go, and it won't be 100 people in one hole.
Right.
Like the last couple years. I don't know. I'm hopeful.
might as well be optimistic.
That's right. I mean, what's being pessimistic going to help?
I say everybody pick one person to go to each boat ramp and draw a decent sized rain turtle. Wait till November 1st to do it, because I'd like to finish work. Do that. We'll be fine.
Tyler drew a rain turtle the other day, and I guess he spilled some energy drink in it because it came a thunder boomer at my house.
Yeah.
It chased you, huh?
I sat straight up in bed.
Kaboom.
It come rain. It come a good rain after that.
I said, go erase it.
Go erase it.
I drew a small one, 'cause
I love. Did you draw it at his house?
I drew it
Sounds
out
like it.
here. So I was like, we need a little bit of rain on this road, because I'm trying to get in my truck so dusty, and it rained and rained. And then I guess I messed up and put a dot in it because it was hailing out there at one point in time. Golly. So Matt called me or texted me. He goes, hey, you need to quit whatever you're doing, because it just blew something off this front porch.
I said, you spilled your ghost in that rain turtle.
I love it. Y'all got anything else?
Yeah.
It's good to have everybody back together, man.
It is. I haven't heard from Barrett enough, so. How's Huck? What's
well,
Huck been up to?
Huck
That's
is,
something else. I got to talk about dogs.
Huck is just being a house dog right now. That's all
He's loving life. What he's doing.
I had to thin him off some food. He was getting a little thick around the middle, so we cut his food back a little bit, and now he's starting to thin up a little bit. But we've done we do a little bit of running in the morning just to, when it's cool, get him moving around a little bit. But other than that, I'll probably send him back to Keith. October, probably 1st of October. I'll let him go back, get tuned up, and then get ready for season. But other than that, Huck's sitting at the house. Not
How
doing
old is Huck
anything.
now? I always forget how old he is.
Oh, dude,
Is
don't
he
ask
5?
me. He was born, 2019.
So he's 5.
He's 5 years old.
Yep.
Boy.
April of 2019.
I haven't seen Huck in a while. I need to see Huck.
He's just a black dog.
So, go ahead.
Oh, he's just at the house. There was something else I was going to say. I was going to say I have not thought about hunting season till right now. So
This little cool snap that we just had got me in the mood a little bit. I started thinking about
so
it.
good. Felt so good.
wow.
So, wow. I've had Owen out for the last, I guess, 2 weeks because I'm like, I need to get him ready for dove season. I don't need him to be just like lazy and just, he does 2 runs, gets picked up a couple, and then he's like exhausted. So we've been working in the yard and we've been doing stuff. And we went to Pepper's Pond a couple times this week. And he's bad about cheating the bank. He's bad about it. But I'm not going to go to trials. I'm not going to, I'll try to not let him do that. But there's times that he's going to do that. And I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it as long as he picks up what I need him to pick up. So 2 times, or the first time that we went over there, I set out a little blind pile, didn't let him see what it was. Like sometimes I'll say I have a blind pile, but he'll see where I set it up because I have no option to set it up without him seeing it.
Carry a blindfold with
Close
you.
your eyes.
Yeah. Close your eyes. You just sit there and be good. And anyhow, I set some up and it was just very simple. Like I was on land. He had to go into water. He had to get up on land. And it was far enough away from land that I was like, I don't think he's going to have the option to cheat. So I tried to send him and he went to the edge of the water. He kind of looked around like, I think he's wanting me to go in the water, but I'm not doing it yet. So I had to get him fired up. And finally, he went in the water. He went over there. He found him, picked him up, brought him back. Did not cheat. We did that 4 times. Did not cheat. So I set it up from water to land to water to land. And he did 2 of those. I was like, great. So he did everything I wanted him to do. He did a great job. We did a few more things, and he did good. So then today, went back, could not get the same spot because somebody was already over there. It was a hot place today. I'm talking about there was people everywhere this morning. So I found another spot that was similar to it, but land was a little bit closer. So it was like he was going to be able to cheat. Well, this time I set it up. He couldn't see where I'd set everything up. I sent him, and he just bailed off in the water. Like, he remembered how this went. So I was like, good. We're remembering things. Got over there, picked it up, but he also looked, and he realized I can run around the water here. So he did it, and I had him on, like, low stimulation or whatever. So I hit him the whole way that he was going across. I was like, I'm either going to shut him down because he doesn't take pressure very well, or this is going to work. He got back over there to me. I was like, all right, well, let's try this again. Put a bumper over. Sent him. He went just fine, got over there and got it, and I got it on him a little more. Here. He jumped right back in, and he came to me. It's like, freak, yes, that's awesome. He finished those up good, so I tried to do the same thing again, water, land. But the second time, water, land, it was too easy for him to cheat. Like, he just could not do it. Like, well, darn. But it was also like, I mean, he cheated by like 15 yards. It wasn't like he ran 50 yards one way to come around the bank, It's like, okay, well, whatever. And then I set up a couple other things, and we did that. And then I'm setting up the last one where these are marks. Like, he sees me throw them, but he's not retrieving from the same place that I threw him, because I threw one of them, 2. The first 2 were going to be 65 yards or around 65 yards. And the last one was going to be 90 yards. And as I'm setting it up, somebody drives up and he asked, like, hey, do you mind if I work with you or whatever? It's like, yeah, this is probably the last thing I'm going to do, but I could help you with your dog or whatever. So I get Owen set up, and he's got to go from water to land to this 65-yard mark. He stops, and I guess it's called popping, and he'll turn around and look at me, and I'm like, back. Like, I'll give him my hand signals, which you're not supposed to do with marks. I understand that. But this is how me and Owen work. He got that bumper and brought it back. I was like, okay, most of the time I'm not going to kill a bird that's going to sail past 65 yards, because if I'm shooting at it, it's probably really close. So I was like, all right, we got that one. Let's see if he can go get the next one. He did the same thing, but he got the next one. It's like, okay, well, this next one, he's got to go water, land, and at an angle, and then back into the water again to get this next one. So I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but we're going to try it. And he did it. And I was like, those are 3 birds. Those are long birds that normally last year he would not have been able to do that. This year he was able to do it. I was thrilled about it. And this guy, I'll go ahead and say his name. He was David Gardner was the guy that I met out there. And he was like, well, I'm going to work on some swim by stuff. I didn't know what swim by meant. I had no idea. I'm not a dog trainer. I was like, I don't know what that is. So I'll just watch, and like, I'll be entertained. You just tell me what I need to help with.
Should I hide?
Yeah. Like, do I need to hide?
I'll have to do it with my hands.
Yeah. I pretty much sat there just like that. Like,
Forrest jumped in the water, starting to swim.
yeah.
Bye.
But he let his little dog Izzy out, and she was an 11-year-old black lab, and she probably weighed 35 pounds, 40 pounds maybe. Little dog, but I'm talking sleek looking little black dog. And she was just fired up. And I tell you right now, she showed Owen up so bad it wasn't even funny. This dog, I'm telling you, is a firecracker dog. So he sent her, and I was watching, and apparently, which Tyler knows what swim by is. Do y'all know what swim by is?
I had no
that
idea.
drill? Do you want to explain it?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
You got it.
So what he did, it was basically the same place. So you've got like this, you're on land and water's parallel to it. And then there's land that's parallel to that. So he would send her all the way across, get a bumper, and she'd come back. He would send her again, stop her, send her back. She'd get the bumper. She's coming back. He would stop her again, and he'd give her a cast to one side. And he would walk with her as she's swimming that way. Okay? And he would, like, if she stopped or anything, he would give her a nick and give her the cast again. Because he's like, I want you following my direction. And he would have her go all the way. Like, sometimes she's got the bumper in her mouth. And she would hit land, and he just wanted her to keep going. And then he would say, okay, good. And then she'd come back. It was like the release or whatever. And I was thoroughly impressed. Like, this dog nailed all this stuff. And she was happy as a lark the whole time. And he would heel her up, and she was like stone. Wherever he pointed her, she was just like stone cold. This is where I'm going. And I was like, dude, it's like, I'm impressed. Showed me up, made me look like an idiot when I was feeling really good about my dog. But yeah, that was impressive. He knew what he was doing, and he finally admitted.
11-year-old dog.
No, 11-month.
Oh, I thought you said 11 year.
Oh, 11 months. I'm sorry.
Like, Drake,
sorry,
man.
No.
Drake,
He's 11 too.
Sorry, I'm sorry if I said year. I mean 11-month-old dog. This dog's not a year old yet.
All right. Well, how
Drake's
hybrid is she?
Drake's like, I can do a drop by.
He's had to drive through.
Wow, y'all spend too much time together.
No, Drake that's what he does. He's like sits in the passenger seat like, I need a Big Mac, bro.
Can we go get a pup cup? Oh, but yeah, no, 11-month-old. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how hybrid, but he told me later, like when he was like summer job as a kid, he was a bird boy for somebody. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what the name was. But anyhow, he got a dog from that, and that is the grandfather of this dog. He said, like, I keep those bloodlines as long as I can or whatever. She was outstanding. And he's obviously a very good trainer. And what Barrett talks about with Keith, like, keeps the same attitude, same volume of voice, like, doesn't get overexcited, doesn't get mad. Like, I was very, very, very impressed.
Yeah. I mean, a dog like that's already keyed up. Like, if you get excited with them, they just go over the top. So,
well, he would get excited with her like afterwards or whatever, and she would bounce. She was bouncy,
Yeah.
but like also like he made her sit while he set everything up, and like she just sat there, and I was like, Owen wouldn't do that. Owen's going to be by me the whole time. Like he's my shadow.
But that's also a difference in a dog that wants to please and is submissive versus an independent, dominant style dog. Because I guarantee you, she's pretty dominant.
She might be. I don't know. But one thing, like when he was talking about popping, I was like, "You're talking about my dog." Like, you talk about when he would turn around and look at me, and he was like, "Yeah, that's popping." And I was like, "I'm not going to fix that." Like, I mean, that's just what we're going to do. He's too insecure to not do that. But he gave me a compliment. He was like, "No, y'all work as a team." It was like, yeah, he popped, but it was like the reason he did that is because he wanted you to tell him where to go. And I was like, well, that was a compliment. I think it was a compliment. Felt like a compliment. But yeah. I was like, he's exactly right. Me and Owen as a team that's how we work. But it also made me think like, dude, I spend more time with that dog than I do my family because I make duck calls at home and he's with me all the time. Like the only time my dog is not with me is when I go to bed at night or if I leave the house. Mm-hmm. And I don't leave the house that much. So my dog is literally with me all the time. So yeah, when he doesn't know what to do, he turns around and he looks at me, which I'm like, you know what? I'm fine with that. I'd rather you turn around and look at me instead of be a Hank and be like, I'm going wherever I want.
I'm going to pee on something.
Piss on this.
I gotta go pee on
New
something.
T-shirt. Don't be a Hank.
Don't be a Hank. In a world of Hanks, be an Owen.
That's exactly right. But yeah, that was cool. And then he set this other thing up. He said that he has to do it by himself a lot as far as working with his dog. Mm-hmm. And he's talks about I have to throw marks from like out away from him. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, how do you set this up? He's like, oh, I'll show you. So he got a little placemat out. And he got this white bucket out. It's like, what's the white bucket for? He's like, well, she'll put the bumper in there. I'm like, she'll put the bumper in the bucket. Like, okay. In my mind, I'm like,
cover Owen's eyes. Like,
yeah.
Don't watch this.
I'm like, okay, we'll see. Okay. Well, he gets her set up. She sits on it. He's like 30 or 40 yards out. He throws it even farther out. So it's like a 60-yard retrieve or whatever. Sends her. She runs out there, gets the bumper, comes back. I kid you not, I should have filmed it. Sat on her place, reached her head over and dropped that bumper in that bucket and then looked back out there at him. And I was like, Well, frick. I was like, I mean, do you get bonus points? Good Lord. No freaking way. But like, it was so intentional. It's just like she leaned over, dropped it in there, and looked back. I was like, that's too cool.
Bro. Got her watching hunting videos while he's at work during the day.
Like, well, I mean,
study.
Teach her to put it on the duck's tote, and then I'll be like, okay, I mean, that's legit right there.
Yeah.
She's almost there.
I mean, I've heard one of the old dogs that was there at Keys whenever I was there, not his son, one of the guys that worked for him, his son was a guide, and that dog would take ducks on the way back and squeeze them hard enough so they'd kill them, and he'd drop them in a box.
Man.
Because they were hunting those big blinds,
Yeah.
and the dog ran remote.
Yeah.
So he knew what to do. Like,
That's
he'd bring
crazy.
it back, drop it in a box.
No, I was impressed with that dog. I mean, I was very happy with the way Owen did. Like, it's one of those things, like, Owen's gonna get it. It's not gonna be impressive. It might look more like a crescent moon the way he gets to the bird, but he's gonna get there. He's gonna get there. I have full faith that he's gonna bring back 99% of what I send him on this year. So
Yeah.
that was good. Yeah, I'm ready for you to get yours back and see what she's gonna do this year. You want to talk about what she's been doing?
Yeah, sure. So right now she's in the middle of force fetch, which she's nailing that. And the other day, Keith sent me a video, got her out to air, and he had a wagon wheel set up, for casting drills. And so he said, she come over and heeled up right next to me. He said, I gave her back, tore out, picked it up, ran out there again, back right, she picked it up, back left, she picked it up. He said, she worked her well around that stupid wagon wheel. He said, she ain't never seen that before. He's like, she may be something. I was like, man, she is something for sure. She's full of piss and vinegar right now. But I had her home with me for 2 weeks. And dude, I'm ready to get her back. Like, she rode to work with me every day. She got in the side by side every day and rode with me everywhere I went. So did I work with you during that?
No, that's when I was gone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was
yeah,
out.
Matt left me. So
you
I
had to
go
bring
get
yours back.
I had to go get an emotional sport dog. But no, I'm ready to have her back.
Have you talked about on the podcast what she does to the other dogs?
No, I don't think so. So she weighs 35 pounds. I mean, she's not real big. She's not even a year old yet. And I've got 20-something dogs in this trailer. Every dog that gets out, she's the first one out. And she nips at them, every single one of them. And then comes back and sits and waits at the door for the next one. And he's got like some 90-pound big males. And he's like, dude, some of them won't even get out because they're like, she's there. But that's just her personality.
She out there.
Go
One
look.
of them will sit there and just
Just shut the
grumble.
door.
He sent me a video. One of them stuck his head out and like looked and seen her and just backed up in the back of it and went to just grumbling. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't want out there with her.
Got his hair up and he was like, I don't want to get out there
Yeah.
with the dog.
I was like, dude, get somebody out there that's going to put her in her place. He's like, dude, she's just that independent, dominant dog. Like, she's not scared of anybody. So,
Well, my thought when I saw that video was like, oh, poor Owen and Huck are screwed.
I don't know. I mean, once she does that, she's like, all right, let's go hang out and play. Like, she's fine. She does that to Emma here at the house.
Our dogs are going to get
Just set
whooped.
the mood for the day.
Yeah.
She's just like, hey, just letting you know I'm here. So,
I'm the boss. Y'all better calm down.
but I'm excited about her. I mean, she's doing really good and training, and I mean, she may not be able to put them back in a bucket yet, but she'll get there one day maybe. I might have to tell Keith, hey, we need to start working on this. I might have to show her off when we go out here to Pepper's Pond. But no, she's killing it. But she'll be ready to come home. I think I'm gonna go pick her up end of October. So that way I'll have her home, let the kids get used to her being back home, and let her kind of settle back in before we start duck season.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. Going to be an exciting time. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm excited.
Y'all got anything else?
Nope.
Let's hop into this duck call review real quick.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I was about to switch
you
off.
about to turn it off.
I was.
So the Waterfowl Company, South Carolina. Is the duck call in there?
No,
It's over
It's
there.
on the shelf.
Oh, it's already on the
there.
shelf. Good grief.
Yeah,
Tyler's like, that's mine. I'm putting it on the
stuff
shelf.
it up there.
Well, Tyler, how about you go ahead and tell us your review of it first?
I mean, I like it. It doesn't blow to me like a traditional cut down call. It's a little bit easier to use. It's more of, in my mind, it's more like a hunting cut down call. Not, and I mean, everybody's gonna be like, well, cut down call's a cut down call regardless. It's easier to blow than a normal cut down call. Blows more like a J-frame.
Okay.
In my opinion, but I like it. I mean, I can get on it. I don't put as much air into them as what Barrett does, so I don't have to worry about locking it down. But I can put all the air I want into it and then back off of it and get real soft on it. It's got a good feed on it for me. I'd put it on a lanyard and hunt it for sure.
I like it. Matt?
I picked it up and put as much air in it as I would a normal cut down call because it looks just like a standard cut down call and it was way too much. So I definitely had to back off of it a lot. And also I can't really hear out of my left ear right now. So that I had that going for me at the same time. But I mean, aesthetically, call looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So yeah, that's my review.
When Forrest handed it to me, I expected, cut down.
Barrett's a cut down guy.
So, I mean, immediate air dump into it and overblow, lock up, squeak. So, yeah, you do really have to cut back. She's a little touchy for me. I mean, it's a great looking call, but yeah, a little touchy. I felt like some of the quacks were a little flat, but for the most part, I mean, Forrest makes any call sound good. For me, it has to be a great call. But I mean, it's not bad. I'd probably say it's all right.
It's all right?
Yeah, it's all right.
So it's on the shorter side. Looking at it over there, it's next to a Rolling Thunder Original and 45, and it's a little shorter than both of those. Shorter than that round hole Ult that it's next to also. So it's a little bit shorter call. It was really responsive because it's shorter, so it's fast. It was too light for me. I lengthened the reed, which I just kind of pulled the reed out to make it a little bit longer for the video, and that was what it needed. So I think for you two, all y'all needed was just a longer reed, and it would be a totally different call for both of you. But the way the reed is set right there, like if you were wanting a softer cut down, like a quote unquote finishing style cut down, that's the way it's set up right now is really good. I like the bottom end, I like the feet on it, but the way it's set up right now, I can't jump on it. I had to lengthen the reed so I could jump on it a little bit more. I can still get the bottom end and everything out of it, but it's a little bit easier the way it is right there. I like it. I mean, that's another cut down out of South Carolina that we've done, which is interesting because South Carolina is not exactly known for cut downs.
Right.
So yeah, good job. I would definitely recommend one. I would think the way that one's set up right there, somebody that may be transitioning from a medium volume J frame to trying to get to a cut down sound, that would be a good transition call. Yeah, I would say that is where I would place that call in the lineup of like if you're what you're looking for next. If you're wanting to get into cut downs but you never really blown one, that'd be a good starting point. Really good starting point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So yeah, y'all got anything else?
Oh
No, sir.
Well, Barrett, you're always the one that's closed us out, so close it out. Do you remember how
tonight? I don't know,
Yeah.
honestly. No, thank you guys for having me back. And what?
I said spade and neuter your pets.
Yeah. Was that Bob Barker?
Yes.
Oh, rest in peace, Bob. No, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll catch you in the next one.